welcome back to Faith with the Baggos. I am Kashina Bago, and of course this is my husband. Who are you, sir? State yourself. He is Rajay Bago. It's been a minute, guys. It's been a minute since we're able to
Not a minute. It has been a while.
A few, maybe 2 months. A few weeks, maybe.
Weeks.
I think the last time you did a video, it was in July. Yeah.
Listen, I'm losing track. I think it's probably 3 months, 6 months.
2 months.
I don't know.
About 6 weeks. 2 months to 6 weeks. But we're back. Yeah, it's been a while. But guys, we're in this transition season. You know, we're homeschooling. That has been something new that we're embarking on. Thus saith the Lord. So I think really it's just us really adjusting in this new place and following the blueprint that God is giving us. So how are you guys doing? Please let me know in the comments, how are you guys doing? But in this video is long overdue because I did say on my other channel, Kashina Bago, that we're going to be talking about this pregnancy. So just in case you're not up to date with what's going on in our lives, we are pregnant with our 4th child, hence the reason why I am out of breath. I get winded easily. So we're pregnant with baby number 4.
Always hungry.
Yeah, this baby comes with an appetite, which I don't mind. So guys, if you've been following our story, you know that we've been married for about 3.5 years. And this is our 3rd pregnancy. So we're averaging a baby a year. How do you feel about that? How do you feel? How do you feel?
I think that's good. That's it's on par with a good business structure, where we're on. I would say we're what? How would you term it?
I don't know what you're saying. So you have to.
It's good production.
Oh,
1 per year. I believe it's a good return on the investment. Yeah, that's it. It's a good return on the investment.
Listen, this has nothing to do with him, okay, and no investment. This is all about God. If you guys remember when I was pregnant with our 2nd son, and he was like, listen, that's it. If it was up to me, it's no more. And it's no, and that was not the case. So in this video, we're going to actually talk to you guys about the process that God had us go through to prepare us for this next pregnancy, what he told us specifically. And also, we're going to reveal the gender of the baby. So let us know in the comments, what do you think the gender of this new addition to our family is? I'm so excited just to see what your guess would be. So just to recap, before my husband and I got married, I had a daughter, and then we have 2 sons, okay? We have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. So what do you think this 3rd baby, 4th child for me, but 3rd baby, I think we would say, what do you think the gender?
It's still 4.
4.
Yeah, it's still 4.
Baby in the sense that I feel like the other 2 are still babies. My daughter, she's 11. But what do you think this new addition to our family will be? Please let us know in the comments. So let us backtrack, okay? So if you've been following our journey, you know that God has us on a schedule.
So soon? I would say having another child overall.
Not so soon?
I wouldn't put it soon. I'm just saying, how we worked on our hearts to,
have children?
To, how we worked on us to get ready, to prepare, to have one more. That's just it. I wouldn't say so soon.
For me, it's so soon. Because, as women, we are carrying the child, okay? So for him, it may not be so soon. But for me, it is so soon. Too soon.
As I said, it's not, to me, it's not just about the soon part. But as I've said before, I was okay with what we have. So, it's just, getting us ready to say, there's one more.
Yeah.
So that's just it.
So guys, God has us on a schedule. I think the schedule so far is I would have a baby, get pregnant, have the baby, and within 9 to 10 months, there's the grand introduction that, there's another pregnancy, and then it's another 9 to 10 months, and then there's another pregnancy. So that is the schedule. The Lord did tell me that when I get married, I will be in a childbearing season. So we're still in that season, and that season is underway. Like, that is the season that we know for sure that we're in. We don't know how long the season is gonna last. My husband he's been pulling the curtain.
I'm just gonna throw it out there.
He's been saying this is it. Okay.
I strongly believe, guys, this is it, but not my will, but His will be
Not
done.
my will.
So I'm just gonna play it safe.
done.
I'm just gonna play it safe. It's Him, it's not me.
Yeah, I can definitely tell you if it's it or not, but I'm not gonna say. Because when he was saying that he thought our last son was it, or he was hoping it would have been it.
Guys, I wasn't saying that that's it. I was hoping that's it.
As soon as I got married, I would be entering into a childbearing season. I don't know how long that season is gonna be. We've been married for 2 years, and I've been pregnant every single year since we got married. So whatever God is doing, let your will be done.
Listen, guys, I hope this one it gets us close to revelation. Regardless of all of this, if you go back and watch our first video, that video where I was like shaking like a nervous wreck, you'll hear me throw the number there. If anyone can remember
How
our
much did you
first video
say?
together.
Babe, close this out. Close this out. Guys, he's gonna close this out. Let's see.
So hopefully we'll be a family of 5 in 1 year.
Cut. Okay, but that's not the video I'm talking about.
This one would equate to the number that I throwed out, guys.
4?
So I came in the union with a number. I told her even before we did the video.
Yeah.
Over conversation, I told her, I gave her a number. I'm like, I believe that it's gonna be this number.
And yet again, ladies and gentlemen, Roger is wrong, because he said in the last video that we would be a family of 5. Now, technically, we're a family of 6.
I need to go back and watch that video.
But you know, as they come and you know the challenges and so, listen, these boys they'll run you to break. I'm telling you, they have so much energy, and then you know the personality differences between all 3 of them is just like
3 of them. My daughter. Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
So you know each one is like a different. It takes something different.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I was ready to throw in the towel. I'm not lying. I was like, I'm calling it quits.
The video that I was talking about though, babe, was the video with Jensen when you were saying that's it. That's it.
I know.
Not the first video.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
In the first video, I threw the number because I knew that was
I think you said, okay, so we'll see. We'll review that video. We'll post both so you can see where his heart and mind was concerning this pregnancy. So let us just go into the process of God preparing my heart. I think he just walks in obedience, but for me, I need a season or a time of preparation. So 90% of the times, I would say 80. Let me not... 80% of the times, the Lord will show me what is to come. He would show me what is going to happen. He's going to show me what his expectations are. And 20% of the time, he just thrusts, okay? So I think this all boils down to your relationship with God and how he deals with you personally. But he knows me. He knows the child that he created. So many times he would show me a lot of things ahead of time. And how that started was our son, Jensen, was only 3 months, a tiny tot, little bit of baby. And he was laying on the bed and I was just looking at him and I was saying, Lord, he is like so precious. So this was last year about this time when he was about 3 months old. He was born in July. So end of September, maybe October. And then I heard the Lord say in my spirit, right? Like you hear the voice of God in your spirit. This is not a voice that came through my ears. This is not a, thunder, through the clouds. No. Are you ready for another one? And I laughed, like Sarah laughed. I laughed, right? Because I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I remember saying, Lord, absolutely not. Okay? Number one, we had a home birth. The Lord led us to have a home birth. It was painful. It was quick, but painful. And I'm just now recuperating and recovering. And 3 months in, the Lord is going to ask me if I were ready for another one. But when I said no, I thought the Lord would have honored my no.
No. not
Was I being delusional?
His will be done. No. My word.
So what happens
my word will not return to me void. It
Yeah.
will do that which I set it out to do. So I don't know.
You don't think God honors or yes and no's?
His will always be. I believe that if what you're saying is in alignment with His will, then so be. But listen, the God that we serve, that I serve and I know you serve is the God of the Bible, and we see clearly with scriptures that listen, this is just how it goes.
That's His will.
You have as much free will as He gives to you.
Absolutely.
So that's how I look at it.
Who think free will?
It's just something that it's coming around, and it's
free will never triumph the sovereignty of God. So persons will talk about common grace and all those stuff, but as I said, it's just His will. Yeah.
And once something is in His will, then it has to come to pass.
Okay.
So what kind of God would He be?
What kind of God if He's taking orders from us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I tried to tell God no. So I said no. And I said it with all love. I'm like, no, but I laughed. I'm like, Lord, you're funny. You're really funny. So that was it. The Lord didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. And then a few months later, I began to have dreams. So do you know the Lord will confirm His word? He will begin to press you to know that this thing is coming up and I need you to be in alignment. So I had a dream, and I told my husband when I had the dream. And in the dream, I took a pregnancy test. And when I took the test and I saw that there were 2 lines, I began crying in this dream, right? Like in anguish, like, Lord, like I cannot have another child so soon, right? And then I remember I just broke out like praying in the Holy Spirit in my dream, just having this direct conversation with God. Like it's too much. It's too soon. And then I woke up and I told my husband, like, okay, God is saying that a baby is coming, like a baby is coming. And He's showing me my current heart towards having another baby so soon. So the Lord was saying, I need you to be in alignment with what I'm about to do. Because how can 2 walk together unless they agree? Do you remember when I told you that dream?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when I told you that God is saying another baby is coming?
There were, listen, to be honest, guys, on the inside, I was a bit, no, but, overall, but I couldn't, express that, outward. So I just said, we'll see. That's it. If it's to be like that, then it will happen. Yeah. There's nothing we can do to stop it. I've always told my wife that, listen, even if we're on birth control, even if you do, what's that thing?
What, tie my tubes?
Exactly. Even if I get my thing.
Vasectomy?
That word. Even if I get that thing done, listen. The God that, I serve, I believe that He can override all of those stuff.
But it's hard to do. It's hard to, because if God is saying and He's telling you the plan, you can't push against what He's telling you. So you can, but we can't. I don't know about you.
No, you won't.
We can't.
You won't.
We can't.
You won't.
Guys, I feel like
oh, you're at the place where
God has us on a, there's just no option but to follow His will. Like some things that God has instructed us to do, we can't even come on camera and talk to you guys about it because it would seem so insane and just not sensible and not logical. But as the Lord told me, wisdom is, finish that scripture, babe. Wisdom is justified by its children, right? So you're walking in godly wisdom when you have fruit of walking in godly wisdom, even though it may be a little, quirky and crazy.
To the world.
So to the world and to us sometimes, because I'm like, Lord, like, are you kidding? Like, are you kidding? But
that's how I felt when you told me that dream, But I was like, well, if He said it's gonna happen, then it will happen. It's gonna happen. Yep.
So at that point, the good thing is when God, once I get His heart and He's pressing for me to understand His heart, I'm coming in alignment right away. Like, I'm not the child to be rebelling and rebutting. I'll push myself to get in alignment, even if I don't understand, even if I have fear, even if I think I'm not ready. And the funny thing about it is I was having like visions of like the child, and you know, so I knew like this is just how God works. So when I had that dream, I'm like, okay, it's game time. Like, this baby is coming. I don't know when, but this baby is coming. So I'm going to fast forward to an encounter that I had with Jesus that I spoke to my husband about. And it was so random. It was just so unscheduled. Meaning there was just no reason for this amazing encounter, but I was watching my favorite couple on YouTube, and they're like a low-key couple. They don't have many subscribers. Most people that I watch on YouTube are like small channels, very impactful but small channels. And they were saying that, you know what, if you have questions about anything, go ask God, he'll answer you. And they were really tying it to like finances and all of that. And we're in the height of our wilderness season. Okay, so I think it wasn't even the right time to be entertaining the thoughts of having another child, because God had pushed us like carpet from under the feet into a wilderness season. And so for us, it was like, God, you have the wrong timing. Okay, I like the idea, but not the right timing. While God is saying, go forth and multiply. Like, for him, it's the perfect timing. For us, not so much, right? Do you think it was a perfect timing?
Yeah.
You think it was the perfect timing?
His time. It's always the perfect time. That's the only, listen, that's the only way I can put it. Even if it appears to us that it's not the perfect time, but you know.
But to you, do you think it was the perfect time?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Based on, my belief, what I stand for, I can't go against, whatever God wants to do. So I just have to come in, alignment with it. So I'm like, whenever time, he does something. Even this morning I was saying to you that, everything happens for a reason. And there's a time for something, even when you don't understand it. So something might happen and you're like, no, this can't happen. And I'm like, yeah, it was the perfect time. You may not see it now, but, further later down the road, you'll come out and you're like, that had to happen then.
In hindsight.
Perfect example, guys. Before our second son, we had a miscarriage. Right?
Chemical. Same thing.
Whatever they call it.
Miscarriage,
So it's that thing, and I was saying to my wife, she in the moment she was like, why would God, let us get pregnant and then, this happen? Why wouldn't he just prevent us from, getting pregnant? And I'm like, there's a reason. Little we know that, further on down the road we would have been pregnant again. And then we would have gotten the word that, listen, this child will be born in another city. Imagine if that pregnancy, the first one, the miscarriage, if that pregnancy would have,
went to full term.
Exactly.
It wouldn't have been the right time.
The timing would have been off. Because the birth of the child is the time that God is giving us, is the time frame that
we're
He's giving
scheduled
us
to move.
To move into our new season.
That next,
so I'm like,
so he just postponed it for like 3 weeks.
Exactly, that's just it.
He was like, okay.
It was just like 3 weeks off.
But it was also a test of faith, right?
Exactly.
Because I had prayed because the Lord told me before my second son was born that he wanted me to have more children. So when the season was coming for me to have this baby, at that point the desire increased in my heart. So I knew it was the Lord's timing, and I had already prayed like months before that I wanted this baby to be conceived in September, because I have all this plan about my job, and not knowing that the Lord would have transitioned us to a next state anyway. So I did get pregnant in September. So it's like, you have a promise, or not a promise, but you pray for a specific outcome. You see the outcome just for it to be snatched out of your hands. So it was a little confusing.
Yeah, it was a test of faith also.
Yeah.
Will you trust me?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I was even thinking, babe, like, am I now having issues? Like, is something wrong with my body?
Like you don't want to go through this.
Yeah, again. Like I'm not gonna, it's like an emotional thing that you really don't want to go through anymore. And I'm like, and the Lord is like, just trust me. And then I just got over it, because a few weeks, like literally 3-4 weeks, I took a test and I was pregnant again. I don't know how these things happen, okay? So that was with our second son. So
yes, and I was saying that just to say that, whatever God is doing, it's always on time and it's for a reason.
yeah, right. There's in hindsight, you may not see it now, but looking back, you're gonna see it. So
and you may never see it.
Or you may never see it, but that's trust, right? Trust that he knows. You may not know, but he knows. And that is something that I think we tend to push for, like clarity, and some things you may not get clarity for, and that is okay because you trust the God who knows all things. So that dream that I had with a pregnancy test, guys, that was in February, okay? Fast forward 2 months later, so I had this encounter with the Lord. As a matter of fact, I went to bed and I asked the Lord a question. And I was just waiting for the answer. Again, I hear the voice of the Holy Spirit in my spirit. Like, I hear his voice. He speaks. Okay? Because, a lot of people don't quite know when you say God speak. Like, they want to know if it's like an audible voice. But you have to cultivate that relationship with God. Okay? So I asked a question. Didn't hear anything. But what I noticed was that the atmosphere was set. So it was just like this overwhelming peace. The peace that passeth all understanding, like the Prince of Peace had arrived, right? So went to bed, and then I woke up with this overwhelming presence of the Lord, heavy presence. And then it was like everything just stood still, like time stood still, and it was just the presence of the Lord. And the Lord was communicating with me. It felt like Jesus was talking to me in my conscience. And he was answering the question that I asked before I went to bed. And he said, and I think at that time I even did a video, and I was saying that he didn't tell us that we were going to be in a wilderness season. And he said, I'm correcting you because I told you, you didn't understand what I was saying. But I told you that you're going to go through a reset and restart. And I'm like, God, that doesn't say wilderness. Reset and restart to me is cute words, but in his mind, but I didn't press in, I didn't dig deeper. So we were having a conversation, and he was just telling me what he, the plans that he had for our lives, and how we were going through this wilderness season, and how he is, pleased with how, our approach, and how we have, we were growing. And it was just like he was talking back, like I was saying something and I would I don't know, because when I say hear, it sounds like it's through my ears, but I would hear his voice in my spirit. Long and short of it, he was telling all these amazing things and why we were in the season that we were in. And then he just said a name. And I'm like, okay, I'm tracking in this conversation. And he said, no, and I said, who was that? Who is that? The name of your next bleep. Insert gender. And at that point, babe, I told you, conversation done. I was so shocked. I was laying there like a deer in headlights, like, are you kidding me? Like, I have a name. Like, the Lord names my children. Is that weird? Like, he names them. So guys, I got up in the morning and I told my husband the whole ordeal that went on with the encounter that I had, and that the Lord said we're gonna have a blank, and because again, this child is yet another gift. How did you feel about that? Like, that was when I think things became real. Like, this is like the Lord is pressing for this thing. How did you feel about that? Like, we have a whole name, we have like this is all laid out. The plan is set. God is just saying, listen, just in case you're not privy to the plan, like, let me lay it out. Like, there is a child coming. This is the name, and this is what it is. What do you think?
So to be honest, guys, I was already ready. So I was just waiting on her to be ready. So as I said, I have a number. Yes, I was saying that, I was okay with what we have, but having all of these, nope.
What?
So having all of these, these additional information, as it relates to, God is preparing us that, something is coming, or someone is coming,
Yeah.
another one is coming. I was like, yeah, but I wasn't sure that she was ready. Because as she said, we had a home birth and, you know, it was an experience and, you know,
Yeah.
yep, and, you know, she's the one carrying them, so I'm like, I can always be ready, but I'm not sure if she's ready. So I was just
Guys.
waiting for her to be comfortable with, you know, especially of the fact that we were in a wilderness season, as my wife said. So, you know, there are other things that were, you know, on her head, you know, so I was like, it's a lot. So I'm like, I can't just be, you know, forcing.
I remember different in my head, but either way, let his truth
Listen.
be his truth. That's
Question.
it. I'm not gonna.
No,
I'm
but
not gonna.
question. Didn't I tell you to let us start now?
I don't remember.
That same morning. That's what happened that same morning.
I don't remember.
No,
No, but what I'm saying is that.
Yeah, what I'm saying. Didn't I say let us start then?
I don't remember.
No. Guys, I think
I'm having a case of amnesia right now.
I think she's holding on. I told her,
But guys,
let's start now.
That's
Even with the fear, I'm like, let's start
with
now.
the fear. We knew what time it was. Like, we knew what Jesus was saying. We knew the plans that God has for us. So we were like, okay, we're gonna dive into this thing head on. Not necessarily even dive in. We're gonna come into alignment with His will, and just take it from there. So literally, weeks, days, I don't know. Less than a month later, we were pregnant with this baby. And now we're going to talk about the gender. Okay? Remember, guys, God told me the gender. How many times God tells us things specifically and we go against what he told us. So come on with us and let us reveal the gender of this baby. Are you ready? Let's do it.
We would have known by now. No, he's saying if it's two, I'm like, no, we would have known. This is.
It's only one.
Yeah. And he knows.
Between those legs, and I like to get it 3 times.
That is the buttocks area.
Yes. This is the bladder.
Oh, is the legs up in the air?
Yes.
Okay. Hope that's not a pee-pee. You gotta be kidding me. That can be. Let the professional handle her business, okay?
You ready?
Okay. Yes.
I'm gonna type it.
It's no! Oh, baby! Wait, don't press it yet. Hold on. Wow, that was a good one. Okay. Yeah. Wait, I can't get over that one. Okay, go ahead.
You ready?
Yes. Oh my God! I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. This is crazy.
Daddy. What?
I don't know. I'm gonna cry. But
She's not here. We have a girl.
She's 11.
But she was saying that it's a girl. I told her it's a.
Yes, guys. So, as you see, the new addition to the Baggo family is a boy. It is a boy. We're having yet another boy. It's so funny, guys. When the Lord, going back to that whole encounter, the Lord said to me, Theodore, and I'm laying in my bed and I'm like, who is that? Who is that, Lord? He said, your next son. And that's when I'm like, but the funny thing, even though the Lord told me that, a few weeks later, I'm desiring a girl in my heart.
No, as soon as we conceived, guys, and it was confirmed that we were pregnant.
I'm like, it's a girl.
You see the issue.
Hey.
Now you see the problem that God has
with his children.
Guys, listen, we all are, we all are guilty of it.
Guys, wow. I mean, the Lord told us. Like, I even told family, like, God is saying, before I even got pregnant, that there is a son coming, and his name is Theodore. But I thought it was a girl. I don't know how.
Guys.
This one.
Guys, it's my time. I'm on the floor. They all were praying for a girl. They knew that it was a boy, but yet still, every single one of them, I think it was just one person that was on my side, right? There was just one other person saying it was a boy.
My brother, yeah.
Yeah, but everybody else who knew about the encounter and, the fact that it was a boy, started saying, oh, it's going to be a girl, and praying for a girl. I'm like, nope.
And the funny thing is,
nope. It's still my time. It's still not your time.
I gotta go ahead. Go ahead.
I have to.
You gotta let it out.
Yep, I have to take this.
He's like riding on the proud train that he got it right,
listen,
and he was still.
It's not about getting it right. It's just that I stick to what God was saying. It's not about getting it right. And even before that, guys, I remember saying to my wife, when we just, we just met and we were, coming together. I'm like, listen. I realized, even in the video the other day, I said it, that listen, I told my wife all the time, but listen, I had no choice but to love Ariel. Even if I didn't want to, I had to, because why? She's going to be the only girl. I've always said it to her, she's going to be the only girl.
Listen,
she's going to be the only girl.
Even if the Lord told me 30 times it was a boy, and this is why you have to be careful with your desires. Because
and you have to examine.
Your desires.
You have to examine.
I thought that God was saying that maybe Theodore was for a later time.
and not this
one. So I'm like, okay, this is the girl, and he's going to come. So I knew it was going to be a boy, but I'm thinking maybe, the next one will be a boy. That was just how I was perceiving everything. Even though the Lord made it clear. So I was convinced that it was a girl. Why? Everyone was saying that my daughter needs company, and she was saying, she was petitioning God for a girl too.
I think they're just using that. I think they're
I kid you not.
Guys, they're just using that to get off. They're using that as a get out of jail card. They're trying to use Ariel as leverage.
She could tell you.
Listen,
that was really the heart behind many people saying that.
Yeah, I believe
they wanted it to be a girl, because it's like, it's just her, and she wanted to be a girl, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's a girl. And I was fully convinced that it was a girl, like fully convinced.
Yeah,
like
she bought
fully
into
convinced.
it,
no matter what God said. How many times God will tell us something specific, and then we allow our desires to overrule the voice of God, to the point when the lady typed out, "It's a boy," I was hurt.
Listen, guys,
I was hurt.
Even before that. Each time I would come and say, listen, let me talk to my son.
Let me talk to my son.
Guys,
I'm like, don't talk to her and say that's your son. I was offended.
She's like, eating off my head. No. It's a girl. You can't say, you don't have concrete evidence. I'm like,
I'm like, what evidence do you have?
Yeah. And she's like that, guys, because, I don't write. I hardly journal. So she was hoping that I'd go for my journal and say, look, listen.
The Lord told me.
This, I wrote it on. I'm like, nope, I knew.
He would always say, let me talk to my son. Let me, and he's wrote, and I'm like, he's talking, he's using like, the he pronouns and the masculine, and I'm like, it's a girl. Like, what are you talking about? Like, don't disrespect her like that. Talking about, let me talk to my son. And he never listened. So even when they told us it was a boy, I was hurt. And I remember even saying to my father, and I'm talking to my father, earthly father. My earthly father.
Listen, that's how it is.
Not my heavenly father, my earthly. And I was saying to him that, I'm just like, I feel heartbroken that it's another boy. Of course, we're grateful having a healthy pregnancy. Glory be to God, because the grace of God is with us in this childbearing season. Like, it's not a hard process at all, thankfully. But I'm like, I thought it was a girl. And he was like, why would you think it's a girl when you told me that the Lord told you you're going to have a son and his name is Theodore? He was like, I don't understand how you thought it was a girl when you heard specifically that it was a boy. But that was what happened, guys. And, I had to, like, I was like really out for that day. Like, I needed to nap. Like, I was so shocked because I had convinced myself through my desires that this is a girl. And it's not. It was whatever God said it was. It was a boy. And it is a boy. And he wasn't even hiding. He was like so open. He was like, there it is. You think I'm a girl? And his legs were like, hello, look at me. I am the gift that is coming to you. So the new addition to our family is another boy. And the funny thing is, it was so funny. A year before we moved, a few months before we transitioned to Georgia, I had another encounter with the Holy Spirit. And he said, call your husband in. You remember that day? Mm-hmm. He was watching TV and I'm praying and he said, call him in. And I was praying and the Lord spoke to me or spoke through me and said, I'm anointing you to what? Let me see if you remember. Or I have anointed you to what? Say it.
How can I forget when I would have told you this before? That he called me to raise boys, and I
No, say it again. I have anointed you
to raise boys.
But at that time, we only had one son.
Yeah, guys. But as I said, from the initial stage, I said to her, listen, the men in my family, and maybe this is not God's thought behind it, but this is just something that I rationed out. I'm like, the men in my family, they are not productive, and I'm the first in everything. We have some smaller ones coming on, like my aunt's son and so forth, who may be different because of their upbringing. But apart from that, before me, those born in my generation and before, they're all like, they're just unproductive male. They're boys trapped in
or
men's body.
No,
they're boys
trapped in a man's body.
Yeah. So I'm like, I was the first, and it's not anything of my doing. It's all God. Each time I talk to him, and I'm like, I am a product of God's grace. His grace and his mercy on my life, made me who I am today. And it's for a reason. Yeah. Because I've been saying to my wife that I believe that he's doing something new in my bloodline as it relates to the men.
Boys, yeah.
So
the Lord, he did.
So it wasn't a surprise when she told me.
I have anointed you to raise boys. So that is where we are. A house full of boys, but we're grateful, and I've come to terms, and that was a lesson for me too. Like, don't allow your desires to override or overrule what the Lord has spoken, because he was so clear. It was I have it in my phone. I'll see if I can put it, a screenshot of the name and the day when the encounter happened and the time to back up all that I'm saying to you. He said, you're gonna have a son. I'm blessing you with a son, and his name is Theodore. And he is, he's this and that. So guys, that is our story. We kept you long. Let me know in the comments if you were here until the ending of this, because that means you have stuck through with us for about maybe 40 minutes or so. So that is our story. We promised you guys this video, so we were really adamant to do it. We do have a registry for our blessed child Theodore. So if you would like to gift us, how do you say that? I'm trying to be correct. I don't know what it is, but if you would like to support us in that way, because we know we have people on this channel who are like, thank you for your ministry, like, I mean, very supportive and generous, like, so we're just putting it out there.
Yeah, and to be honest, we just have to say thank you to those persons, because we're not that kind of person who comes in here and tell anybody to sow or
no,
say, you know,
yeah.
give this. So
But people
these
just don't do
persons,
it.
They just do it.
Have a definitely
we'll
heart.
be here and we'll just get a random email or something.
Yeah,
I'm
say thank you for your ministry. You guys are a
where did
blessing.
this, you know, and as we're talking about that, the guys, the other day when we did it was Fifth Union.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we had, you know, a new subscriber, and you know, she sent a message to my wife. It was an audio message, right? It was a video.
Yeah,
or it was
yeah.
voice?
It was a video with audio.
Yeah, so it was an audio message,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, she was just saying, you know, thank you for, you know, what we are doing, and you know, to my wife for the teaching in that program, which, guys, I believe that program was
really good.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Especially the first class. She's like, you know, but I'm still all for the first class.
Because the first class had biblical, you know, teaching, like it was just a Bible.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
digging.
is that the connections that were made,
Yeah.
you know, I believe there were things that were said there that were revealed. It wasn't hidden, but it was revealed in that, you know, teaching for you ladies to take, you know, to glean from. There were a lot of, you know, strong connections that were made that can be applied to you know, your practical walk, you know, in waiting in God for your, you know, your God-given marriage. So this young lady, I don't know if she's your girl, I'm just saying, but she's a nice young lady, based on what she's saying. What she said, it just, you know, it made my day. As a matter of fact, it made my year. If nothing else happened for this year, I'm good with that message.
And we don't know how she looks. She just recorded
Exactly.
her voice and said she
I'm just
found
saying
her
she's a nice
channel,
person because of what she said.
Yeah, she
you know,
was
this,
really saying
this
thank
young
you
lady
for, you know, what we do, and it was
yeah, but that's not the point.
Wow.
What stood out to me, guys, was when she said she was going back and, you know, watching all of her videos because she's new, and she can just see Christ, Jesus, in all of it. Guys, it blew my mind. I'm like, that's what it's about. You know, it's not our testimony.
Yeah.
It's his. And you know, he
gets the glory.
We're not, my wife and I we're no one special. We're regular people just like you. And you know, and that's why God did it the way how he did it. He chose us to show you that, listen, he wants to do it for you too, and he's going to do it.
Yeah, regular people with a past,
regular people.
with history.
We weren't born in the church. We're not
pastor kids,
exactly.
Right?
You know, we're just regular.
We're kids of the world.
People, you know, we're people who are living in sin. You know, and you know, if it wasn't for Christ, you know, and what he did on the cross, we wouldn't be who we are today.
Yeah.
And then he, you know, he flipped it around. He flipped us around. You know, he gave us our salvation, and then he blessed us. Listen, he blessed me.
Yeah.
Because this is the best thing.
You better say
the
it.
best thing that, you know, could have ever happened to me. Apart from my salvation.
Guys, likewise.
Apart from my salvation, apart from him, this is the best thing. So I'm like, you know, when she said that, it was just,
yeah.
I almost started crying. I'm like, babe, did you
it
hear that?
good.
I told her, listen, pause it, put it back, listen it again. I'm like, did you hear what she just said?
Yeah.
She can see Christ.
Yeah.
All
see God through it.
Not just God, but she said Jesus.
Yeah.
So I'm like, she said Jesus. She can see. You know, it may not be the gospel, but guess what? Who did she see?
Yeah.
She did not see me or my wife or, you know, anything that we did. She saw Christ. And I'm like, you know, it was just so beautiful, guys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
So we're
blessed me.
we're gonna wrap up this video today. Again, thank you so much for supporting us. I think that was what you were talking about.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. You know, thank you,
Let
guys.
me bring it back.
You're so generous.
All right, guys. So again, thank you so much for watching Faith with the Baggos, and we will see you in our next video.